You never know when a simple good deed will change your entire life. It was an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. Mark, a 34-year-old mechanic, was driving home from work, tired and hungry, thinking about leftover pizza in his fridge. His hands smelled faintly of oil, and the weight of the day pressed heavy on his shoulders. The sun was low, casting long shadows on the highway. As he rounded a curve, he noticed a car pulled over on the shoulder. A small sedan, hazard lights blinking frantically. Next to it stood a woman, pacing nervously, phone in hand. Even from a distance, Mark could tell something was wrong. He could have kept driving. Most people did. But something made him slow down. Maybe it was the way she kept glancing up and down the road. Maybe it was the defeated slump in her shoulders, or maybe it was just instinct. Mark pulled over, rolled down his window. "You okay, ma'am?" he called out. The woman rushed over, relief flooding her face. She looked to be in her late 20s, dressed in business clothes, hair pulled back, eyes wide with worry. "Oh my God, thank you for stopping," she said breathlessly. "My tire blew out and I can't get the lug nuts loose. My phone's almost dead and I don't know who to call." Mark smiled gently. "Don't worry, I've got tools in the truck." He hopped out, grabbed his tire iron and jack, and got to work. The woman watched anxiously, wringing her hands. "You're a lifesaver," she murmured. Mark just shrugged. "Happens to all of us." It took him about 15 minutes, nothing he hadn't done 100 times before. As he tightened the spare, the woman fished through her purse, pulling out her wallet. "Please, let me pay you," she said. Mark shook his head firmly. "No need. Just get home safe." The woman hesitated, eyes shimmering with gratitude. "I wish there was something I could do." Mark smiled, wiping his hands on a rag. "Pay it forward." She nodded, almost teary. "I will. Thank you." They parted ways. Mark drove home, not thinking much of it. He ate his pizza, watched TV, went to bed. The next morning, everything changed. Mark was sipping his morning coffee when he noticed something strange. Through his living room window, parked across the street, was a black SUV, sleek, tinted windows, engine idling. Mark frowned. He didn't recognize the vehicle, and in his small, quiet neighborhood, people usually noticed unfamiliar cars. He watched for a few minutes, waiting for someone to step out, but no one did. Just the quiet hum of the engine, the shadowy outline of someone in the driver's seat. Shrugging it off, Mark grabbed his keys and headed out. But as soon as he locked his front door, the SUV pulled forward, slowly, deliberately, stopping right in front of his driveway. Mark froze. The driver's window rolled down, and a man in a black suit leaned out. Sunglasses, earpiece, clean cut, like someone out of a government movie. "Mr. Mark Evans?" the man asked smoothly. Mark's heart thudded. "Yeah." The man gave a slight nod. "We'd like to have a word." Before Mark could respond, the back door of the SUV opened. Another suited figure stepped out, this one taller, broader, face sharp and unreadable. Without a word, he motioned for Mark to get in. Mark hesitated. "Look, what's this about?" "We're not here to hurt you, sir," the first man said calmly. "We just need 5 minutes of your time. Please." Against his better judgment, curiosity tugging harder than fear, Mark slid into the back seat. Inside the SUV, the air was cool, the leather seats smooth. The taller man sat beside him, turning slightly. "Yesterday, you helped a woman on the side of the highway." Mark blinked. "Yeah, she had a flat." The man's jaw tightened ever so slightly. That woman is under federal protection. She's part of an ongoing investigation. Mark's stomach dropped. Wait, what? I didn't know. We know, the man cut in smoothly. That's why we're here. You were seen interacting with her. We need to know. Did she say anything unusual? Did she give you anything? Did anyone else approach you afterward? Mark's head spun. No. She just thanked me and left. That's it. The man studied him carefully, eyes sharp behind his dark glasses. After a long pause, he gave a small nod. All right. The SUV door opened. Mark stumbled out, heart hammering, pulse racing. The SUV pulled away, disappearing down the street, leaving Mark standing in his driveway, stunned. What had he stumbled into? For the rest of the day, Mark couldn't focus on anything. His hands trembled when he picked up his coffee mug. His thoughts spiraled. Why had they come? Who was that woman? Was he in danger? He paced his living room, glancing nervously out the window. No SUV, no men in black, but his gut churned with unease. By late afternoon, Mark decided he couldn't take the tension anymore. He picked up his phone, ready to call a friend, just to talk it out. But before he could dial, there was a knock at the door. A soft, polite knock. Mark's blood turned cold. Slowly, carefully, he approached. Peeking through the peephole, he froze. It was the woman. The same woman from the side of the highway. Mark opened the door cautiously. She smiled. A tired, grateful, worn-out kind of smile. Can I come in? Wordlessly, Mark stepped aside. She entered, glancing around nervously. I owe you an explanation. Mark closed the door, heartbeat thundering. What's going on? She sighed, sinking into a chair. My name is Sarah Mitchell. I work with a special division of the federal government. The flat tire? That wasn't an accident. I was being followed. Mark's mouth went dry. Followed? She nodded. By people who wanted to hurt me. You stopping to help threw them off. It gave my team time to catch up, to secure me. You saved my life, Mark. He staggered back, shaking his head. I was just changing a tire. Sarah gave a small, sad laugh. Sometimes the smallest things change everything. They sat for over an hour as Sarah explained bits and pieces, never too much, but enough to paint the outline of something massive. An undercover investigation, dangerous criminals, informants, threats. She couldn't reveal it all, but she wanted him to understand. His kindness had tipped the scales. Mark listened, stunned, feeling like he'd fallen into a spy movie. At one point, Sarah leaned forward. They came to check on you today because you were a variable, unplanned. They needed to know if you were compromised. You weren't. Mark exhaled shakily. So, what happens now? She smiled softly. Nothing. You go back to your life, and I keep going with mine. Mark frowned. That's it? Sarah stood, smoothing her jacket. That's it. But know this, Mark. You did something brave, even if you didn't realize it. You saw someone in need and helped. That matters more than you know. As she left, Mark stood at his window, watching her step into another black SUV, this one with different agents, different faces. For a long time, he just stood there, trying to process it all. In the days that followed, Mark's life returned to normal. Or at least, it seemed to. But something inside him had shifted. He kept thinking about Sarah's words, about how a simple act of kindness could ripple out in ways you'd never expect. And slowly, Mark started to change, not into a hero or a spy, but into someone who looked a little harder at the world around him. He started noticing the people on the side of the road, the tired cashier at the grocery store, the neighbor struggling with their trash cans, because he realized sometimes the smallest good deed can tip the balance, and you never know who's watching. Remember this: the world is unpredictable. You never know when a simple act, stopping to help, offering a hand, showing up, might change someone's life, or save it. And sometimes, without even knowing it, you might just become part of a much bigger story.